Most people do not remain poor because the world is unjust. They remain poor because they cling to a story that protects their dignity. The market is saturated. It's too competitive. There are too many players already. These phrases sound intelligent. They feel analytical. They give the illusion of someone who understands reality. In truth, they are nothing more than a shield, polite language used to hide weakness from oneself. A weak mind cannot tolerate responsibility. It must outsource failure. When someone says the market is too small, what they are really saying is this: if I admit the problem is me, I will have to change, and I do not want to. So the blame is pushed outward onto an abstract enemy that cannot argue back. This is not strategy. It is self-preservation. Markets do not limit people. People limit themselves. The world is not short of customers. It is short of individuals who know how to command attention, shape desire, and sustain pressure over time. Those who do not understand this will spend their lives rotating through the same excuses, aging, but never gaining power. The lie of the small market is seductive because it sounds reasonable. It allows fear to wear the mask of logic. Fear dressed as logic is the most dangerous kind because it goes unchallenged. Reality is simple and brutal. If you are not growing, you are not constrained, you are unskilled. Skill is the only true bottleneck. The one who understands influence sees abundance where others see scarcity. The one who understands leverage sees opportunity where others see competition. The same environment produces winners and losers, not because the environment favors anyone, but because perception filters reality. The poor man counts opponents. The powerful man counts angles. Most people never even see the field, only the narrow strip of ground directly in front of them. One platform, one message, one method of selling, one version of the customer. When that narrow strip stops producing easy results, panic appears. This must be the limit, they say. No, this is merely the edge of your competence. Markets are vast because human attention is fragmented. People live on different platforms, consume information differently, and move at different speeds of awareness. Reaching them requires patience, repetition, adaptation, and discipline, traits the ego resists. It is far easier to declare the game unwinnable than to admit you do not yet know how to play it properly. This is why so many businesses stall at the same shallow level. They refuse to accept that growth demands personal evolution. New skills, new discomforts, new risks of embarrassment, and time spent looking incompetent while learning to become effective. The ego cannot endure this phase, so it invents a narrative that allows retreat without shame. The market becomes the villain. Competition becomes the excuse. Saturation becomes the myth. In reality, saturated markets are crowded because money flows there. Blood in the water is not a warning, it is proof of feeding. Only those who fear conflict see competition as danger. Those who seek power recognize it as evidence of value. A truly small market would be silent, no noise, no rivals, no struggle, no reward. If you feel trapped, it is not because the walls are close. It is because your vision is narrow. And narrow vision is a choice. The first step toward power is abandoning comforting lies. The second is accepting that your limits are not imposed from outside. They live inside you. The illusion of the divided pie. Power is never lost because others arrive. It is lost because one never understood how much existed to begin with. The belief that opportunity shrinks when competitors appear is one of the most persistent delusions among those who fail to rise. Fear disguises itself as arithmetic. If there are 2 of us, I get half. If there are 4, I get a quarter. This logic is comforting because it explains decline without demanding adaptation. But it is false and crippling. Markets are not pies. They are territories of attention. Attention expands, shifts, fragments, and regenerates. Only those who misunderstand power believe value is fixed and finite. Those who rule understand that value is created through control, not division. The weak measure opportunity by counting rivals. The strong measure opportunity by measuring reach. When someone believes the pie is shrinking, it is not because the pie changed. It is because they are standing in the smallest slice of it and mistaking their position for reality. This reveals a deeper ignorance, the inability to separate the market from one's access to it. A person may operate on one platform with one message, targeting one level of awareness, then conclude demand has disappeared. What has disappeared is imagination. They exhausted their method, not the market. To believe the pie is divided is to believe everyone is fighting for the same space. This is rarely true. Most competitors are not competing. They are merely repeating the same messages to the same small audience of already informed buyers. They circle each other like starving animals, convinced scarcity is the cause, when repetition without mastery is the real problem. Power is not gained by sharing slices. It is gained by expanding boundaries. The powerful do not argue over portions. They redraw the map. Most of the market is invisible to the untrained eye, people who do not yet know they have a problem. Those who sense discomfort but cannot name it, and those who recognize the problem but distrust solutions. These populations are vast and largely untouched, not because they are unreachable, but because few have the vision to reach them. But reaching them requires sophistication, and sophistication is rare, so is patience. It is far easier to speak to those who already agree with you. Far easier to sell to those already shopping. And when that shallow pool dries up, the undisciplined mind declares defeat. This space is crowded. It says, no, this space is lazy. Crowded markets are not dangerous. They are inefficient. And inefficiency is where power accumulates for those who see clearly. When many players fight over the same narrow slice, entire regions remain undefended. Channels go unexplored. Narratives remain uncontested. The illusion of the divided pie persists because it flatters mediocrity. It frames failure as mathematical rather than personal. It suggests inevitability instead of inadequacy. But power has never belonged to those who accept inevitability. History does not reward those who complain that others arrived first. It rewards those who learned how to arrive differently. Dominance has never been about being alone. It has always been about being superior. Those who understand this do not fear competitors, they study them. They observe where attention flows, where it stagnates, and where it is ignored. They move not toward the loudest crowd, but toward the blind spots. The market is never too small, only one's grasp of it is. Those who cling to the fantasy of a shrinking pie spend their lives negotiating over crumbs, while others quietly claim entire territories they never thought to explore. The brutal reality: you never touch the market. There comes a moment every serious operator must face. The moment when excuses collapse under their own weight. You realize that what you have been calling the market is merely a thin layer of people who happen to cross your path by convenience. This realization is uncomfortable. It removes the final shelter of denial. You did not exhaust demand. You exhausted your ability to reach it. Most people have never accessed the market at all. They have merely interacted with a fragment so small that calling it a market insults reality. One platform, one format, one message repeated until fatigue masquerades as saturation. When results slow, they declare opportunity dead. In truth, only their competence expired. The market is not reached by presence alone. It is reached by pressure, sustained, intelligent, adaptive pressure. This is where most fail. They appear briefly, inconsistently, and timidly. Then retreat the moment resistance appears. They confuse exposure with influence and activity with leverage. Influence is not created by showing up once. It is created by occupying mental space repeatedly, in multiple forms, across multiple contexts. Those who do not understand this believe they are competing. They are not. They are testing the water and calling it war. If you believe you have tapped your market, you have likely done nothing more than speak to the smallest, loudest, and least valuable segment of it. The buyers already searching, already comparing, already skeptical. They are easy to find and difficult to convert, because everyone hunts them. Above them exists a far larger population, those who are unaware, uncertain, or emotionally unprepared. Reaching them requires clarity of thought, narrative discipline, and the patience to educate rather than chase. Most do not possess these traits, so they never move upward. They stay where it feels familiar. Familiarity feels like mastery. It is not. A man who only knows how to speak to buyers who already understand the solution is not a marketer. He is a clerk. He waits behind the counter and blames foot traffic when sales decline. True power belongs to those who create movement where none existed before. Many believe they have touched the market because they mistake visibility for dominance. Posting content is not control. Running advertisements is not authority. Control comes from coordination, understanding how messages compound across channels, how repetition builds trust, and how timing shapes belief. Most never learn this. Instead, they retreat into comfort. The market is vast because humans are fragmented. They occupy different digital territories, respond to different signals, and require different triggers before action occurs. Reaching them is not luck. It is structure. Structure is tedious. It demands consistency, measurement, refinement. It exposes ignorance and punishes impatience. This is why most never build it. Instead they say, "I can't scale past this point." What they truly mean is, "I don't know what to do next." There is no shame in ignorance. There is only danger in denying it. The market does not reveal itself to the unprepared. It rewards those who expand their skill set and starves those who cling to outdated methods. It is indifferent to intention and merciless toward laziness. If you are not growing, it is not because the market rejected you. It is because you never truly approached it. The door was never closed. You lacked the strength or the will to push it open. Red water means reward. The redder the water, the greater the reward. Those who fear red water have never understood power. They confuse noise with danger and competition with collapse. Blood in the water is not a warning. It is confirmation. Only valuable territory attracts predators. Only rich resources inspire conflict. No army marches toward barren land. No serious competitor enters a market where nothing can be taken. Yet the timid see red water and retreat. They interpret resistance as proof they do not belong. This instinct disqualifies them before the fight even begins. Power is not preserved through avoidance. It is acquired through confrontation. A crowded market does not signal impossibility, it signals validation. It means money is moving. Demand exists at scale. Others before you endured the difficulty and proved the reward. To fear this is to confess weakness, not wisdom. Many do not fear failure. They fear success itself. The inexperienced ask, "Why is everyone here?" The disciplined ask, "What are they missing?" Red oceans expose inefficiency. When competition intensifies, shortcuts appear. Messages become lazy. Offers blur into sameness. Competitors begin copying one another, not from strategy, but from exhaustion. They fight for the same customers using the same language. the same channels, and the same shallow tactics. This is where dominance is forged. The powerful do not win by shouting louder in the same direction. They win by repositioning, by attacking from angles others avoid, because they demand more effort, more patience, and more thought. While the masses chase where attention is already hot, the strategist searches for where it can be redirected. Crowded markets reward clarity. Empty markets reward novelty. Clarity is harder. In red water, weakness is exposed quickly. There is nowhere to hide poor messaging, weak offers, or fragile execution. Every flaw is punished immediately. This is why the undisciplined flee. They call it too competitive, when what they truly mean is too honest. Competition removes illusion. It forces refinement. It demands superiority instead of hope. Those who survive here become dangerous everywhere else. History favors those who enter contested ground and remain long enough to adapt. Empires are not built in silence. They are forged in chaos, where weaker forces collapse and stronger ones consolidate. The myth that success requires a quiet corner is spread by those who never learn to fight. They want reward without resistance, certainty without sacrifice. The world does not operate this way. When a market appears calm, it is often because it is small, stagnant, or unnoticed. Growth there is limited, influence is capped, safety is purchased at the cost of scale. Red oceans offer the opposite bargain, discomfort in exchange for expansion. Those who understand power accept this trade without hesitation. Competition sharpens skill, hardens resilience, and forces strategic evolution. Surviving among many builds strength that isolation never can. And when others retreat, territory becomes available. Fearful minds see rivals as threats. Strategic minds see them as filters. Competition removes the unserious. It exhausts the impatient. It repels those unwilling to improve. What remains is a smaller, stronger field where dominance becomes possible precisely because most could not endure the process. This is the paradox of red water. It is crowded only on the surface. Beneath it, there is space. Those who descend, who outwork, outlearn, and outlast, find opportunity exactly where others saw danger. They do not ask whether the water is red. They ask whether they are prepared to swim longer than anyone else. That answer determines everything. The Nietzsche training ground, not prison. A niche is not a home. It is a proving ground. Those who misunderstand this confuse containment for strategy. They enter narrow markets not to sharpen themselves, but to hide from resistance. Over time, fear disguises itself as principle. What began as focus hardens into limitation. This is how small players justify staying small. A niche exists to reduce variables, while skills are built. It allows a weaker force to survive long enough to learn. Fewer competitors, clearer feedback, faster iteration. It is not a destination. It is a controlled environment. The disciplined understand this instinctively. They choose narrow territory so they can dominate quickly. They use the niche to master persuasion, pricing power, operational control, and psychological leverage. Once mastery is achieved, they expand without sentiment. The undisciplined grow attached. They romanticize the niche. They speak of focus, while quietly fearing what lies beyond. They mistake comfort for wisdom. In truth, they have adapted to a cage they now refuse to leave. Power respects momentum, not attachment. A niche that once protected you will eventually suffocate you if you refuse to move. What was once an advantage becomes a ceiling. Growth slows. Repetition increases. Innovation dies. Those who remain call this stability. It is stagnation. Constraint exists for preparation, not safety. A fighter trains in the gym to survive the arena, not to live inside the gym. Those who never leave training never test their strength. Those who never test their strength never gain authority. The most dangerous operators treat niches as phases, not identities. They extract every lesson, then advance. They do not ask permission. They move when resistance no longer sharpens them. Expansion is not betrayal. It is evolution. Those who fear expansion often hide behind moral language, authenticity, purity, staying true. This comforts the ego but weakens position. Markets reward effectiveness, not loyalty to limitation. A narrow market offers higher margins and fewer comparisons. Useful early, but power is measured in reach, influence, and control. A ruler of a village is still a villager. To move beyond the niche requires a shift in thinking. You stop asking how to be different in a small group and start asking how to be unmistakable at scale. This demands stronger systems, sharper narratives, and higher tolerance for complexity. Many fail not because it is impossible, but because it exposes unfinished skills. It is easier to remain dominant in a puddle than to become competent in deep water. But puddles dry up, and attachment becomes fatal. Those who succeed understand timing. They leave before comfort becomes decay. The niche is a weapon, not a refuge. Use it, then abandon it without regret. Power belongs to those who know when to outgrow what once protected them. 5 paths to expanding power. Power does not expand by accident. It expands through deliberate movement. Those who stagnate rarely lack opportunity. They lack direction. They drift, they react. They confuse surrender with flexibility. A strategist chooses where force is applied. There are 5 primary directions through which power expands. Each carries a cost. Each offers a different form of control. 1. Ascend, move up market. Trade volume for leverage, fewer customers. Higher standards, greater authority. Upmarket buyers value certainty over novelty and precision over noise. Weak systems collapse under scrutiny. Weak narratives fail under pressure. Those who succeed gain margins, stability, and influence smaller players never touch. 2. Descend. Move down market. Trade margin for scale. Control comes from systems, automation, and endurance. This path rewards operational discipline and punishes emotional attachment. Power here is industrial, not elegant. 3. Adjacent. Expand laterally. Transfer existing strengths into nearby markets. Speed increases. Risk decreases. Insight replaces ambition. Many ignore adjacency while chasing distant fantasies. 4. Broaden, expand scope. Trade sharpness for visibility. You become a symbol rather than a specialist. Without maturity, this creates confusion. With mastery, it creates authority. 5. Narrow further, deepen control. Trade audience size for dependency, prices rise, comparisons vanish, trust monopolizes, precision warfare. Attempting all paths weakens force. Choosing one creates momentum. Weakness is not choosing wrong. It is refusing to choose at all. Every business is dirty. There is no clean path to power, only different forms of friction. Those who fail imagined a frictionless model, perfect customers, flawless systems, effortless scale. This fantasy destroys more ambition than failure ever could. Every business is built on discomfort. The question is not whether it is dirty. It is which dirt you can tolerate long enough to extract value. Service businesses are dirty with people. Product businesses are dirty with logistics. Software is dirty with time and patience. Each demands a different tolerance for friction. Each rewards those who endure. Difficulty is not failure. It is the admission price. Those who understand this do not complain about the dirt. They choose which dirt they are willing to master and dominate. Information businesses are dirty with instability. Revenue arrives quickly and disappears just as fast. Attention is fickle. Loyalty is thin. The operator must constantly reinvent himself to remain relevant. Comfort here is temporary. Complacency is fatal. There is no superior model, only different burdens. The strategic error is not choosing a business with friction. It is choosing one whose friction you resent. Resentment poisons execution. You stop refining systems. You stop sharpening skill. You begin searching for escape instead of dominance. This is why many drift endlessly from opportunity to opportunity. The pattern repeats every time: initial excitement, early progress, resistance, disappointment, departure. They believe they chose incorrectly. In truth, they never chose commitment. Every business contains a structural constraint, something that never disappears regardless of scale or success. Growth does not remove it, it amplifies it. The larger you become, the more that constraint defines daily reality. Those who rise understand this early. They choose their burden consciously. They say, "I can live with this." Once chosen, they stop negotiating with reality. All energy goes into mastery. Those who fall keep bargaining. They imagine the dirt is lighter elsewhere. It never is. It is merely unfamiliar. What looks like freedom is simply a different discomfort. The market punishes hesitation. It rewards adaptation. If you find yourself blaming the model, the industry, or the structure, understand this: you are resisting the price of admission. Power does not emerge from avoidance. It emerges from tolerance. The strongest operators are not those who found a perfect business. They are those who accepted an imperfect one and learned to dominate within its constraints. That is the real separation. The hidden cost of switching. Switching feels like action. In reality, it is often retreat disguised as ambition. A new direction feels intoxicating. It promises renewal without repair, progress without patience. To the restless mind, it feels logical: this isn't working. Something else will. This logic ignores the most unforgiving principle of power: momentum. Momentum is invisible until it disappears. Every year compounds, knowledge deepens, relationships strengthen, reputation hardens, systems improve. Early stages are slow, unrewarding, and humiliating. Progress arrives late, not early. Those who abandon their path just before the inflection point pay a price they rarely calculate. They reset the clock. A new venture does not start at year one. It starts at zero: no trust, no leverage, no authority. Early wins deceive. Speed at the bottom means nothing. Gravity never changes. Frequent switchers believe they are strategic. In truth, they surrender their only advantage: time invested. The market rewards persistence, not novelty. Those who stay grow stronger each cycle. Competitors rotate, trends fade. Endurance compounds advantage. Switchers never gain terrain familiarity. They remain perpetually new, perpetually unproven, perpetually vulnerable. This is why the impatient remain small. Power is cumulative. It belongs to those who stack advantages, not those who chase stimulation. Each pivot erases hard-earned gains, credibility, positioning, leverage. Experience alone is weak without position. Position turns knowledge into control. Those who remain long enough learn where resistance forms, where opportunity hides, and when pressure breaks competitors. Switchers learn only beginnings. The cost of switching is not only lost progress, it is lost identity. Markets trust consistency. Influence grows where behavior is predictable. Constant reinvention signals instability, not innovation. Most switching occurs not because the path is wrong, but because refinement replaces excitement. Growth slows, ego suffers. Effort increases. Many mistake maturation for failure. It is not failure, it is transformation. Those who leave here never cross the threshold where effort converts into authority. They remain forever preparing, busy, active, powerless. True pivots are rare. They occur only when structural impossibility exists, not emotional fatigue. Skill gaps can be closed. Systems can be built. Confidence can be learned. Momentum, once surrendered, must be rebuilt from nothing. Disciplined operators exhaust a path before abandoning it. They extract every advantage. They stay until the environment yields everything it can offer. Staying is harder than leaving, but staying builds position. Leaving offers relief. Staying builds control, and control, not comfort, is the currency of dominance. Language is power. Language is never neutral. It reveals who holds authority and who has surrendered it. Every phrase is a confession. Complaints expose where responsibility has been placed. Those without control speak as though outcomes happen to them. Those with power speak as though outcomes are shaped by them. When someone says, "The market is too competitive," they are not describing reality. They are announcing abdication. They are transferring power outward. This language removes obligation and leverage. Power begins when this language is dismantled. Replace blame with ownership. "Lids are too expensive" becomes, "I haven't learned how to reduce acquisition cost. No one can sell like me" becomes, "I haven't built a scalable sales system. Good people are impossible to find" becomes, "I haven't learned how to attract and retain talent." Each shift removes an excuse and reveals a skill gap. Skill gaps can be closed. Excuses cannot. Many resist this reframing because it is ruthless. It removes self-pity. It forces confrontation with inadequacy. Accountability demands effort, and effort is the gateway to power. Language shapes behavior. Behavior compounds into outcomes. Victim language creates spectators. Operator language creates architects. Disciplined leaders guard internal language as fiercely as strategy. Repeated phrases become belief. Belief drives action. Action shapes destiny. "I can't" closes doors. "I don't know how yet" opens them. That single word yet converts limitation into trajectory. Those who wield power are ruthless with their own language. They do not tolerate weakening narratives. Words are tools, not comforts. Whoever controls language controls perception. Whoever controls perception controls action. Whoever controls action controls outcomes. Change the words, change the position. The rest follows. The final question. At the end of every excuse lies one question. Most avoid it for a lifetime. Not because it is complex, but because it is unforgiving. Do you want to be right, or do you want to win? The weak choose being right. They defend their limitations, their history, their circumstances. They preserve dignity while surrendering power. Winning demands humiliation. It requires admitting ignorance, accepting responsibility, enduring periods where effort exceeds reward and progress remains invisible. This is why most never arrive. The strong reject comforting narratives. They accept that power is not fair, not kind, and never evenly distributed. They adapt instead of arguing. The question forces a reckoning. Will you become someone who succeeds despite conditions, or someone who explains why conditions mattered more than effort? There is no rescue coming, no hidden advantage. Only skill, time, and the willingness to endure longer than others. Those who choose power accept loneliness, misunderstanding, and delayed validation. They seek position, not applause. The weak ask, "Why did this happen to me?" The strong ask, "What did this expose about my skill?" One preserves ego, the other builds dominance. This choice appears daily, in moments when quitting feels reasonable and continuing feels painful. Comfort is always available. Power demands resistance. Resistance is not a warning. It is confirmation. Most will live safe, well-explained lives. A few will choose the harder path and write a far more powerful story.